is the beginning of the treatment. You cannot address what you have not named. You cannot correct what you have not honestly examined. The relationship, in all of its difficulty, in all of the ways it fell short of what you needed and deserved, was also a mirror. And the man who looks honestly into the mirror, even when what he sees is not what he hoped, is the man who can actually change what he sees. She taught you, without meaning to and without knowing she was doing it, exactly where your armor had a gap. Where your foundation had a crack. Where the self-knowledge you carried was not yet deep enough to protect you from trading yourself away piece by piece for the hope of being seen. And now you know. And the man who knows where his foundation is weak has exactly one decision to make, whether to despair over the weakness or to go to work on it. The Stoics do not despair. They observe. They assess. And they go to work. The second chapter, building from the new ground. There is a version of this story that ends with reclamation. The man comes back to himself, she witnesses the transformation, and the relationship is rebuilt on more honest and equal terms. That story is real. It happens. It is one of the outcomes that this kind of growth can produce. But the Stoics would be careful here, and you should be too. Fixating on that particular ending, making the reconciliation the goal of the transformation, is an error. It puts the outcome outside your control. It makes her response the measure of whether your work has been worth doing. And anything that places the measure of your worth in another person's response is, by the Stoic assessment, a source of unnecessary suffering. The version of this story that is entirely yours, the version that no one can take away from you, that does not depend on what she chooses or sees or says, is the second chapter of your own becoming. The chapter in which you build not for her but for yourself. Not out of resentment at what was lost but out of genuine commitment to what is possible. Not as a statement directed at anyone but as a practice maintained for its own sake, for the sake of the man you are in the process of becoming and the life you are in the process of creating. If you are in the middle of that second chapter right now, if the work is still more exhaustion than strength, if the clarity you are reaching for is still more aspiration than actual experience, if the days where the discipline is harder than the discipline is rewarding outnumber the days where it flows, then the Stoic message for you is this. This is exactly what the middle is supposed to feel like. The second chapter is not built in a single inspired moment. It is built the way every genuinely solid structure is built. One chosen action at a time. One morning of rising before the day demands it, of choosing the harder thing before the easier one offers itself. One honest conversation with yourself about where you are,